It's time to make some noise. Welcome to Sound Off Sports. I'm Mike Davis. On today's show, we're breaking down the greatest roast of all time. Netflix put out one of the best comedic specials of all time, the roast of Tom Brady. We're talking about that and hearing your thoughts. Then we're transitioning from one GOAT to maybe the other. Yes, LeBron James, should he stay with the LA Lakers? Should he retire? Should he change to a new team? We get your thoughts on that. And later on, we're talking to a local guy, Jaden Hicks, the defensive back who just got drafted in the 4th round by the Kansas City Chiefs. He joins me for a one-on-one interview. SOS starts right now.
Make some noise. This is Sound Off Sports.
Welcome into Sound Off Sports. Thanks for stopping by. I'm your host, Mike Davis. Well, everybody in the sports world, not even in just the sports world, is talking about the roast of Tom Brady on Netflix. I got my partner in crime, James Edward Barrickman, the fourth with us. James, I mean, this roast, this was well done. I didn't think it was going to be this good. How good was this comedy special?
It was, I thought the magnitude of the moment was met by the lineup. I mean, all the stars were out. Dana White, Peyton Manning, Kim K, Robert Kraft, the whole crew, Will Ferrell. I thought it was beautifully done. It
was really well done. Plus, I think it's a great thing for comedy in general. It was kind of a departure from this PC culture we've been experiencing, and people were just throwing all the expletives out. All the jokes were firing, blazing. So it was a very good time, but we wanted to hear your thoughts on this big night for comedy and sports. What did some people have to say?
The best part of the Brady Roast was when they booed Kim Kardashian. That was awesome.
All right, so that caller loved that moment. Me, I didn't think she was particularly good at the roast. I also was puzzled why she was even getting booed in the first place. Was there some sort of connect? Did Tom Brady and Kim K date at one point, James?
I believe there was a rumor that they might have been dating after Giselle was out of the picture, but I'm not sure why she was getting booed in the first place.
Okay, yeah, to me that wasn't the best part. The best part was unequivocally Bill Belichick making that appearance. We have somebody who gave some thoughts on that. Let's hear what that person had to say.
Yeah, this is Alfred Rosgato on Facebook. He said, "I had no idea Coach could be humorous."
Yeah, I mean, okay, let's talk about Bill Belichick for a second, because if you're talking about the rundown of people who made appearances, from Ben Affleck to Ron Burgundy and Will Ferrell to Kim K, everybody, all the ex-players and athletes, of course, the number one moment of the night, it doesn't matter how big of a sports fan you were, everybody knew the moment, the big moment was when Bill Belichick got brought out, and that was a big deal. I think he was the biggest winner of the night by far. We always thought Coach Bill Belichick was curmudgeon-y, no personality, no fun, and look how much he was smiling. Even when he was done his segment of roasting Tom Brady, he was on the lineup next to Gronk and Edelman having a blast. He was throwing flags. Like, this dude made such a great impression, and we were talking about this in the back office for a long time. He is doing the PR cycle right now to rebrand his image, to get himself in the mode of becoming a big-time pundit on television. He's going to be a huge get when it comes to football and being on television. We know he's going to be working with the Mannings on Omaha Productions. We know he did the stuff with McAfee for the draft, but he was the big winner of the night. And his joke with Alex Guerrero, I mean, he was funny, dude.
No, I don't even know if he was that funny or if I am just fascinated by everything Bill Belichick does. But it had to make your heart feel good as a fan of Bill Belichick to see him in a new light. You know, he does have a sense of humor. He does have a personality. And seeing him putting himself out there and chopping it up and smiling and having a good time with everybody, it made me feel good.
Yeah, I actually thought Brady could have done more to endear himself to Belichick and give a little bit more love to him, because I thought Belichick really met him halfway, you know? So I was surprised that Brady didn't throw a little bit more love at him, but he was incredible. I think overall the best athletes of the evening were Edelman and Gronk and Bledsoe. Bledsoe had to start off the evening. He did pretty well. Edelman was killing it. And Gronk, I mean, listen, Gronk is Gronk, but he's just an entertaining human being. I love that guy.
Gronk is just funny because he's Gronk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he didn't really have to make anything up.
Yeah, it was a really special night for comedy. We got one more comment on this. What did people at home have to say? say about this.
Nikki Turtle on Facebook. She says, when Nikki said, even Gronk said, me know that not real money about crypto, she was the best.
Yeah, Nikki Glazer, from a comedian perspective, Nikki Glazer was great. Kevin Hart did a phenomenal job as host. Schultz was great. That guy, Tony Hinchcliffe.
Tony Hinchcliffe was probably my number one.
He was hilarious. So to me, I think the evening was such a big win for comedy, for sports, and you got to give Brady a pat on the back for putting himself in that position and taking that kind of beating from so many people. But I really loved it. I thought Randy Moss was probably the weakest of the bunch, but
Easily.
Overall, Belichick was, I think, the major selling point and the most remarkable point of the night. James, any last words on this? What's your overall feeling on the whole evening?
No, I'm just a big believer, going back to your point, this wasn't a PC event. And I'm a big believer that you can't put, gates around a comedy skit. And I'm glad that Netflix didn't do that. Nobody was safe. No group was safe. And I'm glad that everybody could kind of put their guns down and just laugh for a night. And that was good to see.
And there was such a history, such a narrative of what's going on between Brady and Belichick and who's more responsible for the dynasty, and just to have Kraft there, to have all that stuff unfolding in real time is just special. Plus, Belichick made a Tide Pods joke with Gronk. I mean, he had good material. So it was, he's the big winner of the night, Belichick, and I'm all team Belichick right now. I've always been a Brady fan, but I love Belichick even more so after an evening like that. Guys, coming up after a short break, guess what? We're talking to a local guy, a defensive back from Washington State who was just drafted in the 4th round by the defending champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. Now have Jaden Hicks in their secondary. We're going to be talking to him and seeing what he has to say about the start of a brand new NFL career. That's after a short break. All right, welcome back to Sound Off Sports. I am joined now by one of my new favorite NFL players. He was just drafted 133rd overall in the 4th round by the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs. It's local guy from Bishop Gorman, Jaden Hicks. Jaden, thanks so much for being with us. Tell us, take us to the moment. Steve Spagnuolo, defensive coordinator, a mastermind of defense, he calls you up and says you are now a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. What did that feel like?
It was the most amazing feeling ever. All that weight lifted off my shoulders, and especially a guy like that who actually fits like what I like to do in football. So it was a really cool feeling. Tell
me what you like to do on the field, because I think a lot of people have kind of given your pro comp to, especially everything you did at the Combine, to Harrison Smith. We all know, hard-hitting guy from Notre Dame, played with the Minnesota Vikings. So tell me, who do you kind of like in your game to? What kind of skill set do you bring to the field?
Yeah, Harrison Smith, he does it all. He's aligned anywhere on the field. And, I think I play like that, so aligning everywhere. There's not a certain position that I can't play, so just being available everywhere.
And let's talk about this, because, I'm a mock draft, NFL draft geek, okay? So me, especially coming from Philadelphia, I'm like, wow, we got Cooper DeJean, we got Quinyon Mitchell. I'm like going crazy. And then I'm like, wow, this guy Jaden Hicks can do it all. Not only is he physical and he's a ball hawk, but he also stops the run. He's physical. He comes from Washington State. Like, this guy knows football. A lot of people, Daniel Jeremiah, he had you number 78 overall. Pro Football Focus, 54 overalls. A writer from The Athletic had you at number 39 overall. So a lot of people thought you're going 2nd, 3rd round. Ending up getting drafted in the 4th, how did that feel for you? Were your expectations a little different? How do you kind of come to terms with all that?
Yeah, the expectation was always, that 2nd or 3rd round. But, I think everything happens for a reason. And I went to one of the best situations I could ever, ask for. So I think, just God aligned me to be where I'm supposed to be at. And obviously it's a scheme thing. Some teams might not have me as the highest safeties on their scheme. So,
right.
But, with Coach Spag, he's got a plan for me, so it's going to be a good one.
Let's be real, okay, for a second. Like, some people, you can get drafted 1st round or 1st pick in the 2nd round by the Carolina Panthers. That's a bad situation, right? Like, isn't it better to just, who cares where you get drafted? In terms of number, it's more about the situation.
Right, so you want to go to a good organization. So, the Chiefs, they're one of the best. They're back-to-back Super Bowl champions, so I couldn't have asked to be in a better position.
You're literally going to be lining up against, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift's boyfriend. You're going to be playing with are you going to be shell-shocked just when you walk in? Tell us about what has happened so far. I know you've had Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
Have you even been on campus there? What has happened so far in terms of you interacting with the Chiefs situation?
No, it was already crazy just seeing their lockers. I'm like, wow, I'm here. Like, seeing those guys that I grew up playing with or like on the game.
Yeah.
And so just seeing their lockers was an amazing thing. Travis Kelce, he has all the cleats and stuff. That was pretty cool to see. And a lot of fan mail and stuff like that. But I'm supposed to be here. In the NFL, like, it's a crazy realization, but
You remember all those secondary players taken ahead of you?
Yes, sir. There's 11.
There's 11?
11.
Can you name them all?
Yeah.
All right, this is the coolest thing. This is my favorite thing. See, this is, to me, if we're talking about like indicators, somebody's going to be a Hall of Famer, this is a major indicator for me, okay? Let's go through each 11.
All right, so there was Tyler Nubin, Javon Bullard, Cole Bishop, Sione Vaki, Dadrian Taylor Demerson. There was Tyke Smith. There was Malik Mustafa.
Oh.
There was, trying to think who the last 2 or 3 were. But yeah, those are some of the guys.
You got a chip on your shoulder is what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
I love it. All right, Jaden Hicks, your new favorite player in the NFL, a great kid from Las Vegas, Bishop Gorman, Washington State Cougars, and now headed to play for back-to-back champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Thanks so much for spending time with us. We appreciate it.
Yes,
guys, that's some exciting stuff right there. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back to Sound Off Sports. All right, so James, now we're going to be talking about LeBron James. He's in LA with the Lakers. A lot of talk about Bronny maybe coming out of college even after not playing so well at USC, having some health problems. Does he try to team up with his son? Does he go to a different team? Does he retire in general? What should LeBron James do after this first round exit in the playoffs? What are the people saying at home?
As far as I'm concerned, he can leave today for all I care. He serves no purpose. I've never understood what all the hubbub was about with this guy, okay? He feels entitled. He's not trying to help the Lakers win. He puts no effort into it, and he's wasting everybody's time. Yeah, I think he could really just take off and just go elsewhere, maybe to the moon. Thank you.
What's so funny about that is saying all those nasty, awful things and then the really polite thank you at the end of that sound off. Listen, I have never personally understood the hate that LeBron James receives. This guy, he was crowned king of the NBA before he even entered the NBA. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
I think that's why people hate him.
But he never had one blemish, never had a run-in with the law. He's a family dude, and he's the leading scorer of all time. He broke Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record. The dude's got 4 titles, 4 MVPs, 4 finals MVPs. He's a stud. He's the oldest player in the NBA, and he's still playing at the level that we're watching him play at. It's remarkable what he's doing. He turns 40 next year. I understand the issue with him and coaches, but I don't understand the hate he gets. Why does he get so much hate, James?
I don't know. Because people love to hate the great ones. You know what I mean? Myself included. You know what I mean? I love to be a hater of the great ones. But no, man, he's a top 10 player at age 40. It's bananas what he's been able to do and throughout his career. So, they're going to hate. They always hate the best ones.
Yeah. All right, let's hear what other people are saying.
This is Adam Clinton on Facebook. He says, personally, he should retire. He has nothing to prove. He's already the greatest of all time. Hang it up.
The puzzling thing is that Lakers fans don't like LeBron James. That's the funny thing.
There was a lot of comments that we skipped over that said he should leave the Lakers so I can go back to rooting for my team.
Do you imagine being a Lakers fan and not liking LeBron James? It makes no sense to me. What is he? What's wrong with
you had to have had a preconceived hate of LeBron prior to him coming to the Lakers.
Like, let's really talk about it. I guess the reasons why people don't like LeBron is, okay, maybe they felt like he was crowned king before he ever entered the NBA, but all he's done is prove people right in the media who gave him that reputation early on. Number two, I guess the whole like taking my talents to South Beach kind of thing rubbed people the wrong way. But okay, and then maybe the other thing, which we're going to be talking about in Sink or Swim next block, is the whole coaching thing. He's had 9 coaches in his 21 years, and 7 of them have been fired.
Right.
So I get that, but when we're talking about what he does on the floor and his, his ability to play at such a high level this late into his career, we've never seen this. I mean, this is ridiculous.
LeBron loves LeBron, right? And LeBron has the power, because he is LeBron, to almost play GM, even though he's not the GM, right? He can make players appear, and he can make players disappear on the roster, and coaches as well. And that's why I feel like a lot of people don't like that, because they don't feel a player should have that kind of power.
I want to make the connection. I'm going to talk about this in Sink or Swim. I don't want to keep plugging that, but I think the friction, just to marry this to our earlier conversation with Brady and Belichick, I think friction is such a key ingredient to success in sports. Like Brady and Belichick's friction helped their success. I think because LeBron never has any friction with his coaches in terms of somebody who can actually stand on their own 2 feet and challenge him and have authority and not be out the door just because LeBron wants them out the door, he needs a guy who is going to give that friction and who's going to challenge him. David Blatt's not doing that. Ty Lue, Darvin Ham, these guys are not doing that. He needs somebody who's an authority figure where you have 2 alphas in the room and you're not just going to be able to kick them out the door.
Basketball's so different, though, than the NFL, where in the NFL, you can be a bad team with worse talent and out-scheme a better, more talented team to a W. You can't really do that in basketball.
In the playoffs, that does happen. Tom Thibodeau, Chris Finch, we see coaches who are at another level in terms of scheming and game planning and having defensive. Though. It's rare, but those are the coaches that really do well. And that's why we saw that with Spoelstra. Spoelstra won 2 titles with LeBron, a great coach. Interesting there. We got one more comment. Let's hear what they had to say.
Yep, this is from Michael Philip Eno Narvios on Facebook. He says, we already know what's going to happen. He's going to secretly make a deal for a team to draft Bronny, and he's going to join that team.
Here's my prediction. I think Bronny's actually going to stay in college. I think he's going to transfer, go to a different school where he can actually, he's got to be better than what we've seen. I think he's going to demonstrate that he can play at a higher level and be a valuable draft pick without the James last name.
Right.
And I think he'll do that for a year. And then LeBron's not slowing down. It's like he has an opt-out of this contract, but he can play for 2, 3, 4 more years easy. So I think Bronny goes back to school, proves he can be a good late first-round pick, and then they team up later. But that's my prediction. What about you?
I don't know what he's going to do. Honestly, I'd love to see him go back to Cleveland. I don't know if Cleveland could make it work from a salary cap perspective, but I would love to see LeBron end his career there, give those fans one final chapter. And think about this. He wouldn't be the savior this time in Cleveland. That team's good without him. They just won their first playoff series since '93 without LeBron. So if they could make it work from a salary cap perspective and you get him on a team with Jared Allen, Garland, and Donovan Mitchell, that team automatically becomes the favorite in the East.
Yeah, I like that. I also think the NBA has changed. You can't just team hop anymore and have ultimate success. Damian Lillard going to the Bucks didn't work out that way. Chris Paul going to the Warriors didn't mean anything. So I think we're seeing teams like the Knicks, the Timberwolves, OKC. These franchises, they're homegrown and they're doing things the right way. You can't just team hop anymore and have immediate success. So I don't really know how many organizations that LeBron can go to and ultimately everything's going to change day one. If he went to, I think Cleveland matches up, but it's not like one of those things where you just team hop. I mean, look,
Right.
Even what they've done with James Harden with the Clippers doesn't work. With KD doesn't work. With what they did with the Suns, you think you pair, Booker and Bradley Beal and Durant, and you just do all this team hopping. It doesn't work anymore. The NBA is changing a little bit, so it's going to be interesting. I don't think he leaves the Lakers. Him and AD is still a great combo, and they're going to have to make some moves there. We'll see what happens with Bronny James. Coming up, we have one more block. Yes, we got to talk more on LeBron. I want to talk about player coach and that concept when it comes to LeBron James. That's coming up in Sink or Swim. All right, welcome back. Sink or Swim time. I want to talk about LeBron James, the guy who should be a player coach. Unfortunately, in today's NBA, you can't do that anymore. We remember guys like Bill Russell, Lenny Wilkins. These guys were actual player coaches. Bill Russell won a title as a player coach. LeBron James is the most obvious player coach of all time because no coach truly has autonomy when you're coaching LeBron James. In his 21 years as an NBA player, he's had 9 coaches. 7 of them have been fired. So it would be great if he could be a coach and basically control his own destiny. We can't have that with current CBA rules. Of course, it would be an issue because what if you're paying him as a coach but not really a player, and that's not going against the salary cap? For obvious reasons, you can't do it anymore. But it's unfortunate because that would be such a great storyline, something amazing for NBA fans to really watch. But like I said earlier, what LeBron James needs, he really needs friction from a coach. That's what he needs. He needs a guy who can stand up, another alpha in the room who's going to challenge him, and I would love to see it. Listen, as the oldest player in the NBA, he's turning 40 this year. He's got the second highest salary in the NBA behind Steph Curry. He's already the all-time leading scorer in history. What this man has done and accomplished, he's a top 3 NBA player of all time. Easy. But I'd love to see him as a player coach. Who knows what's going to happen? Ham out the door. A lot of people are saying J.J. Redick, his new podcast buddy, that could be the situation in L.A. Whoever's the guy there needs to be an alpha, needs to have autonomy, and needs to challenge LeBron James. We've seen it with Belichick and Brady. That friction, sometimes, that is the secret sauce, and that's what LeBron James needs. Guys, thanks so much for joining us on Sound Off Sports this week. We'll see you next week. Can't wait to hear what you guys have to say on all the hot topics in the wide world of sports. We'll see you next week.